So water is on right now. There is the Fletcher coat. There's the water pouring in. So the point of connection beyond the lawn is fine. You can see the water rolling in right now. So we're going to say we're not going to dig up the other side of the lawn for right now. So we have the water turned back off, and we showed you down here. Fletcher coat pipe appears to be in good shape. No water from the house side out there. Not sure how to repair it without taking the whole line out, but as you can see down here, got some of the water out. Down there you can see that's a 10 mil tape. What they do is they wrap regular galvanized iron pipe fittings, which have no coating on them, but unfortunately those sit in soil, they sit in water, and they corrode. So I would imagine somewhere from that pipe that points straight down to it's a 90. You can see there's a little piece of pipe, it's brass, and then a 90, and then a piece of pipe that's galvanized. And at the bottom of this, that turns up eventually. It's iron pipe down there as well. So it's somewhere down there. Unfortunately, you've got this big thing of concrete in the way. But yeah, I'm not sure how we're going to get in there and repair it with this big slab of concrete around your box. They should have just put a box in. But anyways, just want to get a video documentation of that before we proceed. So we're still in Clovis, California. We found, we took this pipe out, we cut it back, and we're going to do a repair here with a little dresser coupling. Not my first pick, but you've got a large tree here, a little crepe myrtle, and then, I don't know what that is, redwood. And the root system is pretty tenacious, so normally we'd dig back over there 5 feet, 6 feet, tunnel underneath, put brand new copper over here, but your project would be through the roof as far as cost. So we opted to go ahead and just replace this portion right here. This is, you can see all the rust and corrosion in the different spots, okay, the orange color. But the worst part is right here. You can see, hopefully, if there's not a glare, the pipe has eaten all through. Right there, that's where the water's spraying. So something happened at this point of connection. You can see there's no tape on it. It didn't get taped great. And so, because you don't see any tape back here, and you can see it's grown. Underneath the tape, it's just grown. That's what happens, is it begins to rust and seal shut in the soil, and it's okay for a while, and then finally it breaks loose. But we're going to leave this piece with you that way. But this is for documentation for our purposes, and that's not a great shot. That's a little bit better. You can see it's gone. That pipe is gone in there all the way through. And anyways, we'll start on the repair, get the water back on here soon. Take another video when we're done. And so here we are in Clovis, California, still a little update on the repair. So the meter is back in. Fortunately, the installers had dropped a couple of brand new gaskets in this hole, and while we were digging out, we found them. So instead of putting the old gaskets back in, they've got new ones. So you've got a nut over there, and of course a nut on this side. So brand new gaskets, and they're lubed up with this is a plumber's grease right here in this little container, and a little grease in there on that side. On this side, you can see the brass adapters all cleaned up. Again, brass will not corrode in soil. And so we've got that tied into a galvanized iron pipe coupling, which I'm not a fan of, but that's what's there. That's what was there before. It lasted you probably 20 years, maybe 25. Not sure when this subdivision was built, but it is wrapped, minimum 40 mil. And you can see that's 20 mil tape. We wrapped it about 3 times. So you got about 60 mil tape on there. It's supposed to keep, the water and the soil and everything off of those fittings. So that's the only iron pipe fitting you've got. And honestly, I don't like to see these boxes buried. They had a lot of sand in here. I don't like sand. Gravel's fine, but I like to be able to get in here and work on the meter. And so this thing was filled up above where the shutoff valve is. Beyond that, what we have is a Schedule 80 PVC nipple. It looks just like that. You can't see it from this side, but it's threaded in there. From the other side, see if we can get in here and get you a good picture. From the other side, you can see that's what it looks like coming from there. The light is the box and the meter and all that. And you got some growth down there, but you can see the tape, and then this nipple with the tag on it, that is the nipple that we just showed you right here. So it's screwed in over on one end, and then it's glued into an 1 1/4 by 1 bushing. You can't see it, but it's glued onto there. We took an 1 1/4 Schedule 80 PVC coupling, a piece of 1 1/4 PVC pipe, 1.25 Schedule 80 PVC 90, and then of course drop down to, this is 1-inch pipe down low. That's Fletcher coat, galvanized Fletcher coat pipe. That's 1.25 inch dresser coupling or repair coupling. It's got gaskets on both sides. Short piece of pipe. We didn't wrap it all the way because we needed to tighten these nuts down. So we will wrap all of that before we're done. And then of course another bushing, and you might be able to see it if it's not too close, maybe not. Little white section. So that's a bushing. And another 1.25 90. So all Schedule 80 in there. The bushings are Schedule 40. We didn't have any in stock, so those are fine, but it's pretty rigid pipe, so this should be pretty durable. Plastic's not going to fail. You've got plastic in your yard going to the house, but it's Schedule 40. It's thinner, and that's what is code for everything, Schedule 40. We use Schedule 80 just because it's very durable. And so anyways, what we're going to do, we got about an hour and a half to wait and let the glue dry. We're going to turn the water on and check that dresser coupling for leaks, check, the meter for leaking, all of that. Once we're comfortable that there's no leaking, we're going to go ahead and get that dresser coupling wrapped up, get this backfilled, and then we'll take another video when we're done. So still here in Clovis, last video before we button up, we already showed you the meter, we showed you the repair. So it's been about an hour and a half. We let it dry. Water is currently under the home. We tested this coupling down there, which means we dried it off completely. And then what we do is we like to run our finger around it and check for even a hint of moisture. And what we mean by that is even if it glistens on your finger, and I'm talking about dripping occasionally or dripping constantly, I'm talking about just a hint of moisture on the finger, it needs to be addressed now. So it's completely dry. Both those nuts and those rubber gaskets have done their job. It's sealed correctly, and so there's no leaking on that. It is wrapped. That's 20 mil tape. It's required to be wrapped 40 mil, which is 40 millimeters. It's just a thickness that they figure will protect the piping. I used about a half a roll of tape there. There's an iron pipe fitting at the bottom, iron pipe fitting going into the dresser coupling, and then the dresser coupling itself. There's probably 100 mil wrap on there, which is way overkill, but it sits down there. There's nowhere for moisture to escape. If you're over watering out here, the water's going to percolate down into the soil and also around this piping. So that's why the code is now pipe's supposed to be 6 inches above grade. Now the Fletcher coat's great, but when you use Fletcher coat, you have to use an iron pipe fitting, which is contradictory to the code. That iron pipe fitting is going to break down no matter how well you wrap it because it's in soil. So anyways, water's onto the building. We're going to go ahead and put some more gravel in here, get this dirt back in place, get the grass back in place, and then outside of that, this installation is done. Okay, last video, before the last video I promised. So 3 bags, that's half cubic feet each, which I'd imagine is 30 pounds, or doesn't really say, but 3 full bags, actually 60 pounds. So we like to put gravel or sand in here, and that is self-settling, so it keeps everything in place. So we've put gravel in all the way up to, it covers the pipe that's down there, settles everything in, then we'll take the wet soil and put it on top, pack it in real nice. It's still pretty wet, so it's going to be kind of spongy out here, but I mean, honestly, that's all we can do with it. You could certainly let it sit out here for a few days and dry out some, but it'd be in the middle of your sidewalk and you'd have a project to take care of. So anyways, that's in, and we'll take one more video when we're done. Okay, so we are finally done here in Clovis, California. Everything is back in place. So we've showed you all the repairs. We cut out the old Fletcher coat iron pipe that goes over into the yard. It wasn't leaking from this side, but it was leaking where it came up and made the connection to the water meter. So we just took a dresser coupling, tied it in, Schedule 80 fittings, Schedule 80 pipe, PVC, tied it back into the meter, so it's all good. We tested it, we backfilled it with about 180 pounds of gravel, and then put the dirt back in there. You can see it's kind of a big mound right now, and the reason why is the dirt is so saturated from the water that's been leaking for a long time that it's just a big mush factory right there. So don't step on it for a little bit. When you do get ready, you can see the grass. Maybe you can't because I'm moving the camera. But when you move it, the dirt just kind of mushes around. Once it dries out, you can come down here and pack this stuff down. You can stomp on it a little bit, stomp the edges into place so that they're good. Stomp the edge into place you know, over here, stomp this in, and then just flatten it out in the middle with your foot. Just flatten this stuff out. Right now, it doesn't even look that bad, and honestly, it patched back in real nice, so you should never really see that there was any repair done here. So, anyways, water's on. Job went well. Outside of that, this installation is done.